And we, following on with Marcus, who's done in 5 gyres all the studies of what's in the water, we've all heard about what's flowing into the water. We've got an app and a website called Global Alert. It was partly funded by the World Bank. And this map and tracking tool allows you all and all of your communities to track trash hotspots anywhere in the world's waters. And this data is critical in getting stakeholders in your watersheds and your community to make a difference and manage this. We were very lucky to launch this in Times Square in April, and 1 month we had airtime on the wall of Morgan Stanley, which is pretty neat given the fact that marine litter is a topic that they actually wanted to bring into Times Square. So that was a pretty neat moment. But when you think about all of our estuaries and outflows, think of them as blood vessels that are going to your heart, and the heart is the ocean. And you think of plastic as the cholesterol, and you do not want the cholesterol to get to your heart. The easiest way to stop the cholesterol going to the heart is to block it at the arteries. And it's much easier to block things coming out of a river when it's going one direction and there's a left and right riverbank than it is to go out into the middle of the ocean and try to catch all of the small material. If you look at a map of China and you say, how do I draw my finger from Hong Kong to Beijing along the coastline? Most people will just go right up the coastline here and go to Beijing, and that's 217,000 miles around the world of what we think as coastline. But if you don't take your finger off the map and you go to the Yangtze River, you turn left and you go all the way to Tibet, to the headwater, you turn left, you do a U-turn, you come back, and then you go to Beijing, that really is the coastline, because all of this water is connected. The biggest 20 rivers in the world add another 87,000 miles to our coastline as we think of a coastline. So when you think of the tributaries, and you think of all of us who care about the ocean, trying to engage the community who maybe doesn't care about the ocean, but they do care about their water up here, and their water here, and their river here, this tool allows everyone to get part of and be involved in this system, because the ocean is where the outflow is at the end of the day. So if we can capture it earlier on, this is a screenshot of the app. It's called Global Alert. It's also in Spanish. But what it does is let you take 3 photos of big quantities of stuff. We're not looking for one single item, because a stakeholder will not drive a truck over and pick up a candy wrapper. But if you show them, the Minister of Tourism or someone in a Rotary Club, that a whole bunch of their watershed is clogged or infected with this stuff, that is good data for them, and you can walk into a meeting and say, guys, this is where our problems are. This is where we need to do a cleanup. This is where we need to put up a boom or a net or a catchment device. And when you add in these photos and enough visual data that an 8-year-old or an elderly person can do, you can get community members really engaged year-long in trash observations. We all care about it. We can't always go out and clean up, but when you're out doing your things, you can take those pictures and get that data on the map so that other stakeholders can make use of that data and then go have those meetings. You can also, once you've loaded a dirty site, you can load pictures that said, I've cleaned it and I came back and I made it look good. So the government can also do that and show people the pin turns green, we just cleaned it. Obviously, if the tide comes in or the floods come and it gets dirty again, we've got to re-report. So this allows you on the website to also create stakeholder zones. You're just managing one watershed, one creek, one river system. And you can print out Excel spreadsheets of data on the back end of the website. So it's not just an app. You can also load to the website if you don't have a smartphone. And what we're trying to inspire is simple things like this. This is not in some third world country. It's about 3 miles from the White House in the US. And it is a trash trap where the water goes right through and the trash is collected on the top. This is made with steel and metal, overly designed, but no reason that that couldn't be used in a developing country with bamboo or wood or some other feature, but it's clearly stopped everything going into the next river, and designing systems that are 3 meters wide, 5 meters wide, half a kilometer wide, based on the water flow and the boats and where things coagulate, gives us a huge chance to really slow the stuff that's going into the water. And even a piece of bamboo sitting across a slow flowing creek is enough to catch a lot of stuff. And this is what we're not really collectively focused on today, is this flow. So when we learn about the data, if we can stop the flow, we're going to learn about how, you know, companies can then start thinking about this material and designing. This is a critical point, and at least stopping the bleeding today, so we can then focus on where does this come from, could we recycle it, can we do something different so that it's not happening, and get great water along the way. Cleaning your river is a bit like the broken windows theory. If you clean it and it looks nice, which they did in Manila, and there's a bike path, it's much more likely people are going to say, that is pretty nice, and I want to keep it that way, and I'm not going to be the next guy to throw my garbage bag into that river. So if we can clean it, just like you paint a window and fix the windows and get the graffiti off, then there's less chance people are going to keep throwing the trash in there. And it's not really, shouldn't be that hard for us to solve it. So thank you very much, and happy to talk.